Essentially, if you're told to go, you just have to go to the back of a room, pick up your stuff and leave. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today's just a nice sort of simple chatty video. Essentially I'm just going to have a chat about the time that I auditioned for Disneyland Paris. It was quite a while ago. It was in 2015, I think, maybe. And I mean, I didn't exactly get very far, but essentially, like, for anyone who wants to sort of know like how the sort of process works, you know, I can let you know up until what I did. Yeah, I just thought it'd be like a nice little video to film, because even though I didn't obviously get through, it was a really like pleasant experience to have. I really enjoyed myself. So let's get into it. So like I said, it was around 2015. It was one of the auditions more towards the beginning of the year. So I travelled up to London on the train with a friend, and we went up the day before, stayed in like a travel lodge or a Premier Inn or something. The next day she stayed in my hotel. Well, she walked me to the audition place, and then she just went back and chilled in the hotel while I went. I got changed. So what I wore, I don't have any photos. But I'm pretty sure I just wore, I think I wore my jazz pants. So they're like quite fitted on like your thighs and your hips and things, and they sort of flare out a little bit. I wore my jazz pants, and I wore, I think it was just like a tank top. So it was because they like to sort of see like your fluidity and like your range of movement, so it was nice and easy to move in, so that's sort of what I'd recommend wearing if you're going to one of the auditions. They also said on the audition sort of webpage, they asked for no makeup. I wore very minimal makeup. I think I just did like a little bit of mascara, a little bit of like BB cream, moisturiser, that sort of thing. I sort of tamed my eyebrows because back then my eyebrows were wild. They're still not great. I'm still learning. But I did notice that a lot of the girls who went had like full faces of makeup on. It didn't seem to matter either way, sort of up until where I got to. But I'd recommend just going for a very, either no makeup or a very natural, no makeup look, you know, sort of like don't really wear anything, if anything at all, because, you know, they're looking at your face and what you look like, because obviously that really helps for Disney performer auditions. I think the audition started at about 9:30. Now I'd looked on some forums beforehand and people had said make sure you get there early, and I'm really glad that we did. Much to my friend's disgust, we walked down, I think it was about 8:30 in the morning, so we got up really early. She walked me down, we were there for 8:30. It was in Pineapple Dance Studios in London, and by this point, 8:30, so an hour before the doors even opened, the queue, we were already maybe 50 or 60 people deep in the queue. And I do know for a fact that by the time, you know, this was an hour before, by the time it actually came to auditions, my friend, she left the same way that the queue was going. So she left about 9, I think it was. She sort of stood and chatted with me for a little bit. By the time she said that she left, like half an hour later, by 9 o'clock, half an hour before the audition even, you know, the doors even opened, the queue was like round the corner, down the block. So a lot of people go, and I do know, I did hear that some people got turned away at the door, so they'd queued up and they didn't even get in because there just wasn't enough room. So I definitely recommend get there early, for sure. I think the people in front of us, because I chatted to the girls in front of me for a little bit in the queue, they had been there they got there about 15 minutes sort of before I did. So I think I timed it quite well. So we all went in, you're given like a sheet to fill in with like all your details and everything, and then you're given your number. You have to like put that somewhere on so they know who you are. And obviously you also take in your like your resume, your performer's resume, and a headshot. So you keep that with you until you go into the main room. You then sort of sit down. I stuck with the people that I was chatting to outside pretty much. So we sat down, we just chatted for a little bit. And then they essentially, you sit down in this room wasn't very big at all. So you sort of all spin around and they have like a big projection board. I mean, they did, they might not now. The panel introduced who they were, what they do, what is expected of you, what you would be doing. So like they made it very clear, you can't just become like what were called face performers. If you are a face performer, you will also be a fur performer and a like an attendant. Like you can't just do one thing, that's it. And also you can't audition for a specific role. They are open auditions, so obviously anyone can go in, and essentially they will just look at you. They will have in their mind who they need at that specific time, or like who they will need coming up to that specific time. And essentially what they will do is they will look at you, they'll go, okay, you fit maybe this person, you know, a bit later on. So, you know, you don't go in with a certain character in mind. They will give you someone to perform as, if you get accepted. So what happened from there is we watched a couple of short videos on like what working in Disneyland Paris was like, what it was about, what you'd be doing, just a little bit more of like what they were chatting about beforehand. And then everyone gets up, and they essentially, we had one big long snaking line where they made the joke of, because obviously it's very height dependent as well, is if you lied about your height on your resume, this is where we'll catch you out, because we're gonna you know, do your height. So essentially you're stood there with your resume. It's like this nice big long snaking line, and at the end they have got their panel table, and they have literally a measuring stick. So you go up, you know, you let them know who you are. When it gets to you, they measure you, then you go to the table, you introduce yourself, you give them your resume and your headshot, you know, thank them for their time and everything, and then you go to the back of a room and you wait until everyone's done. By the time everyone is done, there was a short acting sequence where you had to say like, okay, now essentially like body movements. So you need to act like angry or like really happy, like be happy like a princess, you know. So what would you do, you know, wave, you know, like a princess, be grumpy like a dwarf, stomp like a pirate, that sort of thing. And then you'd sort of like do that sort of all together, you know, they'd give you a couple of examples, and then you'd all go to one side and you'd be put into groups. And then essentially like I think it was, there were groups of 6 if I remember rightly, so 6 of them would go on, they'd, you know, do whatever, and then literally it was ruthless. They'd just go, okay, stay, go, stay, go. And essentially if you're told to go, you just have to go to the back of a room, pick up your stuff and leave. Like, it sounds really brutal, but they have a lot of people to get through, and you know, there's not really any time for anything else. So we did that, and then was the dance sort of section. This bit, I wouldn't say the dance was difficult, because it wasn't. I'm not a dancer at all. I wouldn't say it was hard. It was hard sort of being able to do it in the space that you were in when you were practicing. So you had, basically you were like long ways, like the room was like split long ways. You'd have the lady at the front, and then you'd just have people behind, and you'd just be watching her. She'd do it, you'd do it with her, then you're on your own. So they put on like some Disney parade music, so you'd learn. So like, she went through it, you did it. I think we ran through it with her like twice, like it was like once or twice. It definitely wasn't any more than like 2-3 times. And then you go back to the side and you come forward in your groups and you're staggered. So the dance was nice and simple. It was like 4 counts to the right, marching like a pirate again, sort of like 4 counts back to sort of the middle, like twirling like a princess. Then you'd have to like walk forwards in like another way, walk, do a spin another way, walk backwards, do like a couple of like grapevines and things, like not that difficult at all. And then that's where you'd come in again and you'd do it, and they'd say, you know, yes, no, no, yes, no. By this point they were being a lot more ruthless. So I know probably my group probably went 10th or 11th, and they didn't take many people before us. I think only one person got through out of my group, which, spoiler alert, it wasn't me. That was the point where I went home. But sort of after that bit, that's where they cut a lot of people. So definitely, like, the best thing is as well that I didn't feel disheartened the fact that I did get cut at that point, because I felt I'd done really well. I was really happy with how I did, and I was happy that I did it. But you know, I just went for it. You know, I travelled to London, I auditioned for Disney, didn't get through, that's fine. And then went back. And it's, the thing of it is not that you did the dance or anything wrong, like they just might not be looking for someone who looks like you at that point, which can seem harsh, but it's just, it's how it is. You know, they need people who look a certain way and are acting a certain way to fit in with the cast of performers that they already have. So it was a really, really nice sort of experience to have. Definitely don't have any hard feelings. I haven't auditioned since, but that's because just life. I don't want to go on like too much about what happens after that section, because obviously I'm personally not sure. It's just from what I read up from other sort of places. So, you know, if you are looking to audition, there are loads and loads of forums out there, and loads of videos here on YouTube of people who have gotten the whole way through that process, and have gone on to work for Disney. And it's even the thing of, even if you pass the audition stage, you essentially get put on a waiting list depending on who they need. You can literally just get put on a waiting list, and they'll say, okay, we'll contact you within 6 months if we would like you to come and work for us. They might not even need you. It's just one of those where essentially they will call you if they need you. After 6 months, carry on. I know back when I auditioned, if you auditioned in a year, if you auditioned, say like I auditioned in 2015, I wouldn't be able to audition. It was either 6 months or a full year again. Essentially just because they have so many people who go to the auditions, and that's just the way that it is. Honestly, this video is a little bit rambly, but I just thought it might, you know, even if it just helps one person gain the confidence. Like, I'm not like a skinny person, and I went and, you know, I got to like, what, round 2, round 3, and like back then especially, I was not the most confident person at all, but I really found just going for something like that really helped like my like self-esteem, and things like that. You know, I definitely think that people should, you know, if you want to do something, go for it. Like, absolutely do it. Like, do what you want to do what you love, because you don't know unless you try. I really, really hope you enjoyed this little rambly chatty video about the time that I auditioned for Disneyland Paris. If you'd like to see more videos like this, generally just more Disney content, because I've only auditioned once, so I don't have any other content. Thank you very much for my camera for dying. Basically, all I was going to say was thank you very much for watching. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. Like, if it helps like at least one person, fab, like wonderful, like that makes me happy. You know, do what you like, do you, like if you want to go for it, just go for it, because you never know what could happen and you don't know unless you try. So don't forget to comment down below, maybe like if you've auditioned as well, like how did it go? If you've got any tips for anybody else. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.